I don't think that we can ever have peace with my family unless the truth is out there.
Relationships and its ethic of neighborliness.
Relationships and its ethic of nobleness. As 2025 begins, the British royal family is at a crossroads, with King Charles III balancing his health challenges and public duties. The king, who will make his first overseas trip of the year to Poland to commemorate the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz, remains a central figure despite ongoing family tensions. Meanwhile, Prince William and Kate Middleton continue to cement their roles as the future of the monarchy. Kate's resilience following a recent health scare has won admiration, while William's leadership is growing amid ongoing family divisions. Prince Harry's memoir Spare, released in January 2023, was a turning point in his relationship with the royal family. According to a recent Vanity Fair article, Harry had genuine hope for reconciliation with Prince William and King Charles despite the book's explosive allegations. But it didn't go as planned, and the relationship between the two royal brothers is as bad as it can be. Despite everything, Princess Anne has taken it upon herself to mend the relationship between the two in a truly shocking turn of events. Keep watching as Princes Harry, Prince William, and Princess Anne finally reveal the truth of the situation. Watch till the end, because you do not want to miss this. The Royal Rift. No matter where you look in royal circles, lines have been drawn between Team Wales and Team Sussex. The once inseparable duo hasn't spoken in years, at least as far as the public knows. King Charles's refusal to meet with his ginger-haired younger son on his most recent trip back to London indicates how broad the rift has widened beyond mere sibling discord. So, what went wrong? How did Diana's precious sons become so divided to the point of the silent treatment? Today we delve into the rift between Prince William, the Prince of Wales, and Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. We explore the events leading to their estrangement and consider the root cause of this breakdown and its broader implications for society's cultural divisions. Prince Henry Charles Albert David of Wales was born on September 15, 1984, completing Charles and Diana's family, and bringing 2-year-old Prince William a beloved younger brother. As the two boys grew, they spent time both in the limelight in their capacity as royals, but also with an intentional approach to normal activities like going to theme parks, attending normal school, and engaging with all spheres of the public. It was Diana's wish for them to have as normal an upbringing as possible and be raised to become compassionate and engaged men dedicated to their heritage. Her overt displays of affection toward them contrasted with the traditionally reserved demeanor of the royal family at the time, setting a precedent that resonates in modern royal protocol. Diana's sudden death in 1997, after her very public separation and divorce from now King Charles III a few years prior, left the young princes to rely on one another and understandably draw closer than ever as they entered their teenage years. In Harry's own words, "I think what would be quite shocking or surprising to people is that after our mother died, we were on different paths, right? Two individuals who experienced a very similar traumatic experience, but dealt with it in two very different ways. These different paths would soon veer opposite in ways that neither brother at the time could have ever imagined." Over the years following Diana's tragic passing, throughout both boys' secondary and university educations, their time in the army, and even when William married Catherine Middleton, William and Harry's close brotherhood and popularity remained at the forefront of headlines, pop culture, and even charitable efforts like the Heads Together campaign launched in 2016 by the princes to combat mental health stigmas in the UK and across the world. Harry was a beloved uncle to his niece and nephews, Charlotte, Louis, and George, and held the title of most eligible bachelor in the world. But as the 2010s came to an end, cracks in the brothers' close relationship began to show. 2016 was a pivotal year for the princes, as after two former serious and very public failed relationships, Prince Harry officially was tied publicly to his future wife and American actress Meghan Markle. The public was initially smitten by the pair, but there were echoes of concern about the speed and nature of their relationship. Dynamics of this couple from very different backgrounds. Reports have established that Prince William was a strong voice of this uneasiness, having dated his wife, Catherine, Princess of Wales, for nearly a decade before proposing to ensure she would be prepared for royal life. I think it's incredible how strong and how you've been able William is said to have had strong hesitations about Meghan and Harry's hastiness to tie the knot less than 1 year after publicly announcing their courtship. In his best-selling memoir Spare, published in January 2023, Prince Harry recounts that his brother aired some concerns early on and never dissuaded him from marrying the foreign divorcee, but rather highlighted the very prevalent cultural differences between the pair. Cultural differences which William and Harry would soon discover to be factored into their undoing. Despite these concerns, Prince William, then the Duke of Cambridge, stood by his brother after Harry's public statement rebuking the press for violating his then-girlfriend's privacy, stating the Duke of Cambridge absolutely understands the situation concerning privacy and supports the need for Prince Harry to support those closest to him. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle wed on May 19, 2018, at the Chapel of St. George at Windsor Castle, with Prince William serving as best man. The ceremony was revolutionary, with a gospel choir and an American Southern pastor contributing to the service in homage to Meghan's heritage. However, the event was riddled with snickers from the guests, royal and otherwise, and shrouded in rumors of a shouting match and tearful fight between the royal bride herself and a newly postpartum Princess Catherine. No public signs of infighting were prevalent just yet, but Prince Harry would later recount how his brother approached him about the new bride's demeanor. Again, Harry pointed to cultural differences. For a time after the wedding, things seemed to go swimmingly with the newly minted Fab Four working together at Kensington Palace under one office with shared staff and duties. Soon, however, dedicated staff began dropping like flies. In his book, Prince Harry admits his team were found sobbing at their desks, scared to talk to their bosses, and facing the largest turnover the institution had seen in decades. Many observations and assumptions have been made about this season, including a difference between William and Harry's approach to African wildlife preservation. With the Times reporting they are both very passionate about saving protected species, but didn't always share the same view about how to run projects in Africa. The article continued to explain that William prefers a community empowerment approach, while Harry prefers to be more of an interventionist by finding and implementing solutions fast. This, alongside staffing issues rumored to be fueled by Meghan Markle's alleged bullying, led to a split in the Kensington Palace Court, birthing Sussex Royal, an office solely devoted to the work of Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Sly Eyes will note the original Sussex Royal website was designed by the Canadian branding agency Article. We are at a crossroads where the urgency to reassess and redefine our approach, which recently produced Meghan's lifestyle brand American Riviera Orchard. Moreover, Article is the recipient of Meghan's recent praise for being a close friend and longtime supporter, which has fueled speculation that the duo's plans to leave the royal fold were seeded long beforehand. By late 2019, Prince Harry, Meghan, and their infant son Archie traveled to Canada for a vacation, which soon turned semi-permanent. In their 2022 Netflix Tell All Harry and Meghan, the pair explained that the pressure from the UK press had become so unbearable they were forced to flee to British Columbia. Pressure, they noted, that was not relieved by Prince William, whom they claimed played a role in their frustrations with the press. One chilly January morning in 2020, after only notifying the palace 10 minutes beforehand, Harry and Meghan released a statement to Instagram stating their decision to step back as senior members of the royal family in the hopes of becoming financially independent. Initially applauded as courageous, revolutionary, and inspirational for stepping down, the couple transplanted to Los Angeles. However, eyebrows were raised when, amidst the worldwide pandemic, the couple befriended top talent like Tyler Perry, Ellen DeGeneres, and Oprah Winfrey, who had earlier in the following year released a bombshell interview with the Sussexes that forever changed their public reputation. This conspicuous association belied their previous statements about seeking privacy. For their family, in the wake of Harry and Meghan's tell-all talk with Oprah, the brothers' public relationship soured. Harry and Meghan shared that a significant factor in their departure was unconscious racism towards Meghan and their son Archie, as well as the institution's ignorance of Meghan's mental health struggles throughout her pregnancy. The Sussex couple discussed deep-seated issues in the family, coming top down from the Queen and Prince Philip, who at the time of the broadcast lay dying in the hospital. In response to the racism insinuations, Prince William adamantly stated the morning after the broadcast, "We are very much not a racist family. In an unprecedented move, Buckingham Palace released a statement in response to Harry and Meghan's woes, which declared that recollections may vary and that they would handle these issues privately. Only shortly after this exchange, Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, and then a year later his wife, Queen Elizabeth II, passed away. Their funerals left the two brothers face to face once again. They remained cordial and exchanged pleasantries, but things were icy cold between their wives, particularly as evidenced during the public walkabout after the passing of Queen Elizabeth, where Meghan and Catherine didn't utter a word to one another. Many hoped that these family tragedies would bring the brothers above the fray. However, only a few days after Queen Elizabeth's funeral, promotions for the Sussexes' Netflix project emerged. Harry and Meghan rehashed their departure from the palace using vulnerable home movies and providing detailed interviews once again, highlighting their demand for an apology from the palace. This narrative was then accentuated over the following year with Meghan's podcast Archetypes, Harry's memoir Spare, more interviews, and most recently the rebrand of their charitable foundation Archewell. Prince William has retained his grandmother's famous stance of never complain, never explain, as a response to the allegations brought against him and his family's heritage by his rogue brother. It has been a dark season for the royals as they've faced 3 cancer battles this year: King Charles, Princess Catherine, and the Duchess of York, as well as continued allegations from the rogue royals, including a book directly naming Charles and Catherine as the 2 racist royals. William has solemnly carried the challenges of the family as his wife and father face their toughest battles, and he has all but cut his brother out of his life. He has prioritized his duty as future king over his brother, which many younger generations have criticized. Many have disagreed with Prince William's decision to choose his royal duty over his brother, particularly in Western culture, but the issue is much more than soap opera drama. This critique of William's choice to prioritize duty over personal desire reflects an ongoing crisis of individualism in the West, where we've risked losing sight of our collective sense of duty beyond ourselves. Between the rise of social media, on-demand entertainment, and cultural mantras of self-prioritization, there is little sense of obligation. The royal family is one of the last great beacons of self-sacrifice. Although the monarchy is often considered to be a taxpayer-funded fashion show, once the glamour and prestige are peeled back, a sense of duty and self-sacrifice is fundamentally at the heart of the institution. They exist to highlight important charitable issues in the country and create a cultural identity rooted in history, both the good and the bad. This is a stark contrast to self-fulfilling initiatives in our influencer culture, aiming to gain more positive PR, increase followings, and ultimately line pockets. Princess Diana is an immortal inspiration of independence and glamour through trial who stole the world's heart. Diana's genuine affection and self-sacrifice for a mission beyond herself means little without her sense of duty. Despite her tumultuous relationship with the monarchy, she made it clear that her sons were born into something special, and it was her duty to prepare them. She never stopped respecting the institution despite her divorce, and never tried to tear it down, unlike the attacks we've seen coming from Camp Sussex. Western culture has brought about the greatest opportunities and innovation thanks to our independent approach, and it has laid the groundwork for one of the greatest civilizations the world has seen. However, as Alexis de Tocqueville warned in his masterpiece Work Democracy in America, atomizing our existence and hyper-focusing on our independence could be our undoing without a personal and collective sense of duty. Common duty to something greater than ourselves. We will be fractioned and ultimately headed for failure. Here we see the great divide between William and Harry. Though it is easy to point to the time when Harry met Meghan as the downfall of the prince's relationship, the arrival of Meghan Markle only highlighted a growing schism in the brothers' different approaches to duty and individuality. Culture is facing this schism head-on, whether we know it or not. As classical worldviews are being embraced like never before, for example, traditional womanhood is trending. More people are returning to mainstream religions, and many are doing away with basic ugly architecture and instead opting for glorifying structures. Our culture craves something greater than ourselves. Despite Harry giving up his rich connection to the oldest and most prestigious traditional monarchy in the world to produce Netflix specials, we hope that the princes reconcile soon and repair old wounds. They also seem to have special help. The role of Princess Anne. Princess Anne, known for her no-nonsense attitude and steadfast approach, has remained a firm favorite within the royal family even during some of the most controversial moments in recent years. Her candidness has stood out, offering a refreshing perspective. When Prince Harry and Meghan Markle announced their decision to step back as working royals, it sent shockwaves across the nation, highlighting divisions within the House of Windsor. Speaking with royal expert Katie Nicholl for Vanity Fair shortly after the couple's announcement, and shared her thoughts, indirectly shedding light on her views about their decision. While she wasn't directly asked about Harry and Meghan, and discussed her decision not to grant her children, Peter Phillips and Zara Tindall, royal titles or the HRH style. She explained, "I think it was probably easier for them, and I think most people would argue that there are downsides to having titles, so I think that was probably the right thing to do." Anne's practical outlook seemingly echoed support for Harry and Meghan's move to relinquish their HRH titles and step back from royal duties, highlighting the importance of doing what's best for their family, just as she had done for her children. Unlike working royals, Peter and Zara have pursued private lives while maintaining close ties with senior royals. They receive no taxpayer funding and do not officially represent the crown, granting them independence in their chosen paths. In the same interview, Anne also praised Zara's equestrian achievements, saying, "Zara was always a natural, and it was really a question of whether she felt that was something she really wanted to do, and she did. She was very thorough and applied herself to it, so she was quite rightly very successful." Everyone laughed when Princess Anne's feathered hat obscured her nephew Prince Harry's view at King Charles's coronation. But what most missed was the pair's warm exchange. When she arrived and joked about him sitting in the third row while the rest of the senior royals barely glanced in 38-year-old Harry's direction, and made a point of stopping to ask him if he was okay with his seating position, to which he laughingly replied, "I don't mind," before instructing her to sit at the front. Onlookers might have been surprised by the warm exchange, but royal insiders say the ability not to hold grudges is one of the Princess Royal's endearing qualities. It's why, ahead of Harry's flying visit to the UK this week, King Charles has deployed and to play peacemaker between his warring sons, Harry and Prince William, and has a soft spot for Harry because they share a similar sense of humor, or certainly did, and she can identify with him being the spare, not the heir, royal expert Phil Dampier tells Woman's Day. After all, Anne has played second fiddle for decades to Charles and Prince Andrew, even though she has been the hardest-working royal. With Harry due to return to the High Court in London as part of his ongoing case with the Mirror Group over phone hacking allegations, it's the perfect opportunity for Anne, 74, to have a quiet word with her nephew and tell him exactly what she thinks of all the feuding nonsense. If King Charles asks her, I'm sure she would act as a go-between in any meaningful family attempts to heal the rift, says Phil. And also knows better than most that royals are humans with weaknesses and problems like the rest of us. Her own marriage failed. She had an affair with one of her detectives, and her son Peter Phillips's marriage ended in divorce, so she doesn't tend to lecture or moralize at others. Tellingly, Anne is one of the only members of the royal family who wasn't attacked in Harry's blistering biography, which cruelly targeted his brother William and sister-in-law Kate. Details of his father's relationship. With his stepmother Queen Camilla, the biggest roadblock will be William. William is the one who is most upset and can't move beyond Harry's cruel portrayal of him as hot-headed and unsympathetic, says a royal insider, adds Phil. And won't be happy about Harry riding spare and doing his Netflix series and doesn't believe in washing dirty linen in public, but she will have forgiven him and tried to understand his motives. She is very practical and pragmatic, like her father Prince Philip, and she will try to solve problems. So I can see her as a potential peacemaker. I don't think she is an admirer of Meghan, and she probably feels Harry would still be a royal if it weren't for her. But she also recognizes the terrible scars Harry bears because of what happened to Diana. Undoubtedly, one of Anne's biggest motivations for reuniting the brothers will be to protect the future of the crown and honor her late mother's legacy. If she can help, she will bring the brothers back together, says Phil, but it will be behind the scenes away from the public eye. Hope for the brothers' relationship. Who would have known there was still hope for the brothers' relationship after what has been a seemingly never-ending parade of bad news regarding Prince William and Prince Harry's rift? Things are apparently starting to look up. There's a glimmer of hope for the estranged brothers as the two reportedly attended their uncle's memorial service, in what an insider has called a promising sign. A source told the Daily Beast that the glimmer of hope in William and Harry's rift is that they both went to the memorial service. After all, Harry skipped a friend's wedding because William would be there earlier this summer. It was probably always going to be a funeral that brought the boys together under one roof, a friend of the Spencer family said. And the fact that William didn't boycott it because Harry was going to be there has cast a glimmer of hope in an otherwise deeply depressing impasse. It's an important recognition of the fact that blood is thicker than water. It's a mature, promising sign that their private disagreements are not going to be allowed to overshadow important family events. Reconciliation efforts. They also noted going to the service made sense to those close to Harry and William because they adore their Aunt Jane. It's pretty rich coming from a ginger, so I'm quite happy. Therefore, it was absolutely right that they were both there out of respect for her. Harry is still very close to his mother's family. If anyone can mediate between the brothers, it will be Jane, a friend and neighbor of the Spencers told the outlet. Furthermore, the wider Spencer family is said to have been doing what they can to repair William and Harry's fractured relationship behind the scenes. The Spencers have been working hard to get the brothers to reconcile, the second Spencer insider said. They understand William's hurt at Harry's betrayal, but they also understand Harry's position because of the way Diana was treated by the Windsors. Do you think the royal brothers will be able to mend their rift? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more.